Okay, welcome everybody to this week's call. My name is Jackie Boyle and I live in Australia, and I have the honour to be able to host each week the esteemed Dr. Jospeh Ahrens, dual nominated Nobel Prize scientist with a wealth of knowledge that we have the benefit of being able to have access to in regards to not just about Emulin and 24/7, but just about general health topics and about wellness and things that we all, we want to know about, but sometimes we just don't know who to ask. So this week's call is Q&A week. So we've got some questions that people have sent in to us. And so we're going to work our way through there. So how are you, Dr. Ahrens?
Hey, I'm great. Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. I've been on the road all day. Just got in a little bit lately. I flew in from Fort Myers, and my arms are really tired from that. But hey, don't I look really good? Look at that. I'm either going to a wedding or I've been to a funeral. I don't know which it is. Here in the South, everybody has got double names. Billy Bob and Little Joe, and my.
Sorry. Hang on. I've muted you. That's my fault. I'm so sorry. Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Ahrens? I hit by mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can. I apologize, everybody.
Well, down here in the South, I live in the Southeast U.S., and everybody down here's got double names. They got my youngest brother, his name was Billy Boy, and my middle brother was David Alley, for David Allen. And I was actually originally called Millie Joe. Sounds funny because my dad's name was Milton, and my name is Joe, and so technically I'm a junior. I'm Milton Joseph Jr., and they called him Milton, and they called me Joey. And all these stupid aunts and uncles, they called me Little Joey and all that. Anyway, a lot of people call me Milty Joey or Milty Joe. And so that's how I feel today down in the South. I look really good. And so this guy, he walks in to the bar, to the pub, just a bar in the US, and he looks at a tuxedo just like I've got on, because I've just been down to a video conference recording that I'll tell you about in just a little bit. That's why I'm dressed in these funeral clothes. Well, this real important guy walks in, and he was Millie Joe. And they said, Millie Joe, how come you're dressed so snazzy in that tuxedo and stuff? And he said, well, the doctor told me tomorrow I'm going to get me a vasectomy, and I'm going to be impotent. And so if I'm going to be impotent, I want to look impotent. So that's why he was in a suit. I hope that translates with the Southeastern U.S. dialect, but, impotent and impotent. So, okay, that's a really terrible joke. I'm here, and even though I'm in a little bit of a fancy dress, let's get rocking and rolling.
So, Dr. Ahrens, I'm sorry, it's good. You've got some humor, and it makes us look like, that we are actually human and we are real. So it's great to have you on board and to have your sense of humor intact as well. And I know that you did go down and you met with Kevin, and it is all something that's exciting, that is all building up into May 1st, which is really is super cool. So we're all waiting with bated breath for May 1st, which I must say in Australia, it's 12 o'clock at night through till like 6 a.m. in the morning or something, or beyond. But anyway, it is certainly worth it. Okay, so we've got questions.
It is going to be a really nice event. I've got some other conflicts going on, and I cannot actually get to South Dakota for that launch. So I did arrange to go down and meet with alternative laboratories. And we did some video there as if we would, be live. And I talked about Emulin, because Emulin is the deal. I'm telling you, Valentis is supporting Emulin. It's going to be the flagship product. And, I gave a little bit of a technical presentation, and I showed everybody on the line there at the facilities And I'm telling you, it is a great facility. It is really, truly fantastic. I've been to a lot of places on the planet where they manufacture pharmaceuticals and drugs and supplements. And there's two of them that stand out to me. And one of them is Kevin Thomas Place Alternative Laboratories, and the other one is Blue Gum in Australia. They're really very upper echelon. And people, I'll tell you, this is where we have the product manufactured. It's not something gotten out of China or anywhere, no disparaging to China. I'm just saying this is the very top level facilities in the world. And I'm glad to be part of that. So I just got back, and yeah, that's why I'm in my funeral clothes. That's what they said. You're either here for a funeral or a wedding. So let's get going.
All right. Okay, so we've got a question from Jiva, and these are all ones that have come in through the email. So a type 2 diabetic and taking, I think it's Jardiance, 25 milligram tablets every other day. Used to take metformin daily, but hasn't done that for 2 years. Hasn't made any dietary changes since starting Emulin, but as a rule, eats a low carb diet, moderate exercise, on other medications like Ventolin and Advil to control asthma, and uses a CPAP machine while sleeping, vitamins and supplements, on quite a few different ones there, but did a reset, a carb reset 6 weeks ago, but somehow missed the instructions about keeping a food journal. And the sugar levels were below 6 fasting during a carb reset. Lately, they've been between 7 and 8. Is it a good idea to do another reset with a food journal? And just wondering how that fits in with, it's a 63-year-old male, and just wondering what your thoughts are in the benefits of doing a carb reset, using Emulin, and what are the benefits of doing that, going through that procedure and keeping a journal?
Well, this is a really good question because it touches on a couple of issues that are really important. So if you keep a food journal, you will find out that you were not eating what you thought you were eating. Even if you've got a good memory, keep a food journal. So personally, I use Carb Manager. It's an app on the phone, and it's got almost every food known to man, not only just like, cooked asparagus, but if you actually have a product like Del Monte oranges, it comes with all the ingredients in that product. That's just for me in the US. I don't know if they do that in all. I think they do have computers in Oz. Oh yeah, you're on a computer. They do have computers in Oz, and they probably have that application down there. I use Carb Manager, but whatever you use, track what you're consuming. You will be surprised, totally amazed at what you thought you were doing and what you were really doing. And this is what happens to me. I don't want to do it every day. It's a pain in the neck, breakfast, lunch, snacks, or whatever. And then you go, okay, I don't need to do that. I've done it for 2 weeks. And then the first thing you know is 6 months that go by, and you assume you're doing the same thing. You go back in and enter and say, wow, I'm totally off. So yes, do a food journal. That will be the basis of what's going forward. The second thing is I really commend being on a low carb diet. I'm not going to say, okay, you got to be keto or, Atkins. There's lots of diets. And, Jackie, that is a topic for a future talk, is these different diets and how they compare one to another. We need to remember that. I'm just about eating healthy. And the way I approach my own diet is as a physiologist. So what does that mean? A physiologist, biochemist, or food scientist? Well, physiology is the study of the chemistry of life. And that's what I have my degrees in. And that's how I've made my living. I study how does chemistry, how does food, how does everything work inside your body, the chemistry. I'm a physiologist. And, I'm not a medical doctor, but actually I've trained lots of medical doctors, and I hate going to medical doctors because I go in there and they try to tell me stuff. And I said, wait a second, where did you learn that? And I said, well, I read this in this textbook. I said, wait a second, I'm the author of that textbook. You need to listen to me. So, you know, oh, that's a totally another story. So I understand chemistry, and by understanding the biology, I developed my own diet. What should the human eat? Forget all the fads and stuff. You actually, what does a human need? That actually led me to being very close to what's called the caveman diet. It's not a keto diet. It's not artificial, because actually to be a keto guy, it's a little bit artificial. But a caveman diet means basically low carbs. And if those people that were on our talk a few weeks ago, don't be afraid of animal fat. Don't be afraid of it. If you are a vegan, we'll talk about that. But don't be afraid of animal fat. And that's what our ancestors ate, animal fat. And so I built my diet around that. So keep a food journal. Do be low carb, kind of a primal type of diet. And what you will find out if you get on amylin is not only will you get rid of metformin, but you'll get rid of 2 or 3 of those other medications you're on, because they are synthetic. They are trying to force something onto your diet that is artificial. You don't go out and find metformin growing on a tree somewhere. I mean, this is just ludicrous. But amylin is made out of things that you would have found in nature a couple hundred years ago. If you were strolling through the woods as a hunter-gatherer and you found a bunch of ancient blueberries on a bush, they would all have amylin in them. Okay, so now you go to the store and you buy blueberries, they don't have any amylin in them. Why is that? Because we grow everything. We make it bigger, sweeter, prettier. Name anything: apples, peaches, oranges, grapes. You know, actually grapes, especially the white ones, are kind of their nature's Kool-Aid. They have nothing in them except sugar and a little bit of grape flavor. And that's why amylin is no longer in those products. And then if you process any of the food, it completely strips out any amylin. Amylin is inside sugar cane, and that's where we get sucrose. Amylin is in native sugar cane. So then we process that into pure sugar. We completely strip out the amylin, and that leads into inflammation. So I want to go back to the original question, in that you're on the right track. You need to stay on a low carb diet. Low carb, 50 grams a day is where I pin it right there. You get under that, you're getting into keto. It's a total different discipline. 50 grams of carbs a day. Avoid added sugar. Get on amylin. If you are diabetic or tending that, take at least 4 or 6 a day until you get that under control. You'll find out you'll need even less medications.
Sounds awesome to me. And what I got out of that was to say that, yes, let's take the journal and go back to the caveman diet. And I'm looking at a few men that have got not a whole lot of hair on their heads. So maybe you might have been liking the caveman diet, like pulling the hair around a bit, you know?
Yeah, well, I didn't ever think that not having hair was a defect. Is that like dark skin is a defect, or blue eyes are a defect, or where are you going with that?
Just bad Aussie sense of humor. But anyway, let's go on to question number 2 so we can try and get through this. So Grace has sent in a question here, and a non-diabetic has hypertension. Started taking amylin C since November. Has noticed that her blood pressure goes up when she takes it. Today it's even higher after taking amylin C. Is it safe to switch to amylin M? And what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, that's a really good question. So I think that everybody needs amylin. This should be in your diet. As I just said, a couple of hundred years ago, you would have had amylin in your diet naturally. This is why we offer it as a supplement. But the second part of that is we have amylin C and amylin M. Both amylin C and amylin M help with management of sugars, and they manage inflammation. You take the C if you want to control blood sugar or support your body's control of blood sugar. You take the M for normal management and management of inflammation. They both do the same, but take M if you're more concerned about inflammation, arthritis, and those type of things, and take C if you're more concerned about high blood sugar. Having said that, amylin doesn't cure anything to begin with. It just supports your body's normal functions. If you're having trouble with high blood pressure, you need to take hesperidin, Hesperidin. It's also a related chemical is hesperidin, Hesperidin. They're almost the same chemical. One of them is processed differently in your body. This will help you with high blood pressure issues. This is what that comes out of the white that's inside an orange, a citrus, hesperidin. It actually was proposed back in the 50s, 1950s, to be a new vitamin. It was called vitamin P. Vitamin P for permeability. And hesperidin is amazing in helping your whole cardiovascular system be flexible and porous to the right chemicals in your body. Anybody who has high blood pressure issues, go for hesperidin. How are you going to get that? Well, you can go to Amazon and you can look for hesperidin. It's also very often sold as citrus bioflavonoid complex. Citrus bioflavonoid complex. And take 500 milligrams a day of that. So I want to tell you right now, I am not here to hawk amylin. I am here to tell you about how to have good health. I think that everyone needs to have amylin. But if you approach me and say, I've got high blood pressure issues, I'm going to tell you to take hesperidin. It's also called citrus bioflavonoid complex. You can get it in most health stores. You can certainly get it over the internet.
Okay, so Dr. Ahrens, this next question probably really falls into this, so you can just probably add a little bit to this, which is from Felice in Maui, who has a friend that is taking a blood thinner. He has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and started to be more forgetful. They'd like to help him, but wondering if amylin C would be better, and also what dose would you suggest?
All right, well, first of all, I will start out by saying everyone needs amylin, whether it's C or M, everyone needs amylin. It is like a vitamin, like vitamin C, like vitamin D. You need to take it every day for the rest of your life. You just don't get enough of it in your normal diet. After that basis of understanding, you should probably be on the amylin C rather than the M. We have actually shown that people have more mental acuity with amylin, whether it's C or M, but in this case, I'm saying that it should have amylin C. And it is, you know, every time I hear this stuff, I think, oh, amylin, it appears to be a miracle. And the miracle is your body. That's the miracle. And it just needs a few raw materials for it to function. Yes, it helps with pain here and there and diabetes, and you just name all these things. But remember, we do not heal any diseases. We do not mediate any diseases. What we do is support your body's own ability to overcome these situations. So I would put this person on amylin C, and depending on how much they weigh, Hawaii. So they're going to be in pounds. If they weigh 200 pounds, I immediately put them on 6 amylin C a day. And then they will actually get a clarity of thought. Why? Because you've gone to functional carbohydrate metabolism in the brain. You know, the brain only operates on glucose. It doesn't operate on protein or whatever. Unless you force it into ketosis, where it starts using ketones as a food source, it uses glucose. And when you have messed up glucose carbohydrate metabolism, in the brain, it produces a brain fog. Actually, Jackie, the people that think they're healthy and they're athletic and they're fine, the first thing they report after taking Emlyn is a cloud lifted off of my brain. They thought, oh, I woke up out of a cloud one day. I realized I'm really thinking, I got a great sleep, and I have clarity of thought. Well, it's because you got messed up carbohydrate metabolism in your brain. Everyone needs Emlyn. Start on the Emlyn C. Do 6 tabs. I want to tell you, though, that sometimes it upsets certain people's stomachs. So I would pray, take one and then go for a few days and then add another one. And over the course, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, get up to that 6. I personally don't have any issue, but I personally know people that have trouble just dumping 6 in their system all at one time. So come up to 6, and I know that you'll see a dramatic improvement.
That's excellent, Dr. Ahrens. And there's some really good points there for people to really take note of, because it certainly has been noted over the time. Brain fog is one of the first things that lift, and then looking at slowly introducing Emlyn in certain people just for their bodies to become in balance, and then they rebalance, so to speak. So thank you. So they were sleeping really well for the first time in years after taking 2 Emlyn C for one day. But after 3 days, her face was swollen and very itchy. She finds that the antihistamine reduces the irritation. She has an allergy to ginger, lemongrass, tomato seeds, and nuts, especially jojoba. Could it be the Emlyn that is causing this reaction?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, everything's wonderful. People can be allergic to their own hair. I mean, what you can be allergic to is quite amazing. You've read these stories that a woman's allergic to her husband. And yes, there are some rare cases that you can be allergic to the components of Emlyn. It's so small that it doesn't even register statistically. It's like 0.00001. But there are some people, I've recognized it, that are allergic to this product. So the first thing I do to stop it, get off of it. I'm not going to force this on you. Get off of Emlyn and see if it goes away. And most people, Emlyn helps with those allergies. It helps with hay fever and bee stings or whatever. But there are some instances where people are extra sensitive to the components of Emlyn. And, I'm sorry, that's how it is. But what I will do is, if you will send me a private email through the system, Jackie, you can tell them how to do that. I'll work out an alternative for you, a suggestion. It's probably going to include what I just said, that hesperidin. That hesperidin is found in the white part of citrus fruits. But yes, you can be allergic to it. And secondly, get off of the product. And if it goes away, yeah, you're allergic. Secondly, though, you could start coming on, just like I mentioned previously, 1 capsule and then go a week and take another capsule. And then your body could probably slowly get used to it, because we're introducing things into your body. They have not been in there for hundreds of years. They are totally natural, but we haven't had them in our body for hundreds of years. So that's my suggestion, and I will give you a personal reply to that.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it, folks? Like, here we are, we've got the doctor here, the formulator, and he's personally going to help people, and it makes a huge difference. You're an amazing man, humanitarian, that's for sure, Dr. Ahrens. Okay, so another question we have from Rita is that she's got clients that have menopausal symptoms. How could Emlyn actually assist in regards to so many women that suffer with menopause?
Well, I want to go back
careful.
to saying everybody in any condition needs Emlyn. Cradle to grave. Repeat this, people, cradle to grave. If you say, well, I've just had a heart attack and I'm recovering, do I need Emlyn? I have arthritis and I had a knee replacement. Do I need Emlyn? I'm going through menopause. Do I need? Everybody needs Emlyn. And we actually are working on products for a future release that will specifically address issues such as menopause. In the meantime, I will tell you, take Emulin. Your body will be the best it can be. If you are suffering from menopause issues, imbalance, which is actually an imbalance in hormones, we are the only animal on earth that outlives our reproductive capability. That's just quite amazing. So we're very unique in that area. But regardless of what you're going through, whether you've got migraine headaches, asthma, menopause issues, monthly menopause issues, or take Emulin, then your body will be the best it can be. That's really my answer. Yes, it will help you. If you've got some issues, yes, it will help you get better.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you. Okay, so Anne Livingston has asked a question that she's got a client that has a severe foot pain and poor balance when trying to stand from a seated position. When walking, there is no pain, just pain after sitting or laying for a long period in time. The pain is typically on the bottom of the feet, and she has no pain when resting, only when getting up. It's almost like having to start the circulation within her feet. The question being is if Emulin could be effective, and if so, in what way is it assisting her body? She is generally healthy, no diabetes, and she walks every day. Again, no pain while walking, but she has not been diagnosed with nerve or circulation issues. Just what your thoughts are here, Dr. Ahrens.
Well, first of all, that's ridiculous. She has pain when she gets up and stands on her feet, and she hasn't been diagnosed with any neurological issue. That just doesn't make any sense. She either has an issue or she doesn't have an issue. I mean, I don't know how the doctors do the test, but she's in pain. She's got a neurological issue. So you have been diagnosed with a neurological issue. That's ridiculous. Secondly, Emulin, go back to everybody needs Emulin. Whatever your body is dealing with, it will be better having Emulin. Think about, you can say, okay, I'm having a heart attack. Would it hurt me or help me if I chopped off my foot? Come on, of course, you want your foot chopped off. So I'm saying, have Emulin, have your immunity system as best as it can, and your body will deal really good with that heart attack. All right, I'm being a little bit facetious here, of course. Specifically, though, yes, Emulin can help with neurological issues. If you have followed any of this, you'll find out that people that even are autistic, that have Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, they improve by having Emulin, because part of its process is that it helps the electrons move properly through the neurons, and it actually rebuilds and helps rebuild the sheath, the insulation on the outside of nerves. So absolutely, it will help neurological issues and neuropathy. Secondly, it is not a cure-all. It will not just immediately help your neuropathy. So here's what I will tell you to do and how it works. First of all, take Emulin M, because it's got quercetin in it, and quercetin is the one that helps the most with things like neuropathy and pain. Secondly, you need to even order more quercetin than is in Emulin M. Take another 100 or 200 milligrams a day. You can buy quercetin on Amazon. It's not very expensive. It will help you out a great deal. So you should be taking Emulin M, supplement with that another 100 or 200. I'm saying whatever happens to be in a convenient tablet size. I don't care if it's 200 or 100. I'm not saying take 1,000 milligrams. Just take 50, 100, 150, whatever is convenient in those tabs, and that will help a great deal. And then I want you to also take that hesperidin, citrus bioflavonoid complex. That has absolutely been shown to help with neuropathy. How does it work? It improves blood circulation, which also simultaneously improves with the health of your neurons and your dendrites, how they fit together there, and the signal across there. Particularly quercetin helps with the signal jumping across those gaps. It's been well documented in athletes that they have a higher reflex moment if they take enough quercetin. So that's my story.
Sounds great, and it's a good response, Dr. Ahrens, because I will say personally, having neuropathy and having your guidance over the years, everything that you have just explained and shared with people is spot on. It certainly makes a huge difference for neuropathy. Okay, so heading on to Isla has sent in a question. I think it's quite an interesting one. But they're interested in wanting to understand how amylin may assist and support in hair loss of like alopecia into, I hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly, trichotillomania and memory loss from viral meningitis and fibromyalgia.
You know, I can't say a lot about hair loss, that's for sure. I never thought it was a defect, but I would just, okay, everybody needs insulin. Are you taking insulin? Great. I want to send you to naringin, Naringen. It is the main flavonoid in grapefruit, and it will help with that particular fibromyalgia. I've seen absolute reversals of those issues. Insulin does a good job. It supports your immune system, which is part of that. You've got actually an attack on your own muscle and nerve tissue, but naringin will do an even better job. The problem with naringin is it's extremely bitter. You know, that's actually the chemical that we first started out with in my company, naringin. We saw naringin, hey, it comes in grapefruit, and this is why people have weight loss, and this is why people report improvements with psoriasis and fibromyalgia. And so we put naringin inside brownies and tried to get people to eat them. They were just horrible. You could just throw up. They were so bitter it turned your mouth inside out. But you can buy naringin in a capsule. So first of all, get on amylin, and then go to, you know, I don't get anything from Amazon. I just know you can get it. Get some naringin capsules, 500 milligrams a day, and it will improve your situation.
That's excellent. Okay, so thank you. Next question is from Mindy. So it's been diagnosed with liver disease and polycystic kidney and liver disease. She's 52. Has had tests run last week because of the gallbladder has also been compromised. Has a list of things going on. Hashimoto, is one, which really threatened her on many levels throughout her body. Had a bone graft done, and the dentist used bovine and cadaver bone. Had a prion in on it from mad cow disease, so ended up with chronic wasting disease.
Wow, that's terrible.
I'm on progesterone, testosterone, estrogen to build up my muscles back. Lost from 146 to 106 in a year. Also has osteomyelitis because it caused infection. Had to get the bones in my mouth and jaw reconstructed. And just wanting to know, again, how can amylin assist and support in managing this incredible state that this poor person's in?
Well, that's really terrible. And you caught mad cow disease. I just don't understand how the medical community is able to do things like that. It's just crazy. That's a very simple test. Go see your lawyer. But okay, a couple of things here. First of all, if you're going to be on, you need to be on amylin C rather than M, because we want to have less quercetin in there based on the drugs you're currently on. Should see. Number two, amylin really is about regulating the immune and inflammatory system, which is the healing system. And you will find out whatever your body is doing to heal itself now, it will happen in half the time if you have amylin in there. It will appear to be a miracle. The issues with your bone and bone grafts, it will cut them in half. I will tell you, anyone, if you have an organ transplant or something like that, you need to get off of Emulin for at least a week ahead of time, because it does have quercetin in it, and that thins your blood a little bit. As soon as you have the bone marrow transplant, the organ transplant, get back on Emulin. You will engraft. That's the process of joining together, which we're talking about here, in half the time. So that's how Emulin helps you. It regulates your immune system. It stops your body from attacking itself. It will cause healing. The scaffolding of there's when you get wounded, and or anyway, whether it's cut or they cut you to put an organ in there, your body builds a scaffold, and then it starts building tissue on top of that scaffold. That scaffolding system is improved by Emulin. It just goes to show you that we were meant to take Emulin naturally. And I think if you'd had Emulin in your diet from a child, you would have never even had these issues. So Emulin will work by improving your immune system, which improves your healing system. It will help for the engraft process. It will reduce inflammation. It will stop your cells from attacking itself. So but it should be Emulin C based on your current drugs.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? When you listen to that person. So we will keep you posted on how that person goes as we go through. And that's where the testimonial page that we launched yesterday is going to be so amazing for everybody to have that one-stop shop. So we're really excited about it, and we hope you are too. Okay, Dr. Ahrens, we've got 3 more questions, so we'll try and get them in. So Amy has sent in a question that she's got a guy that's got severe bipolar and is overweight. How do you suggest that Emulin can assist him with both of these areas, please?
Okay, so first of all, you need to take Emulin C, not Emulin M. Quercetin, the extra quercetin M, will aggravate the bipolar situation because it causes testosterone to be produced in your body, and it will absolutely aggravate the bipolar situation. Take Emulin C. It just has a little bit of quercetin in it. Number 2, overweight. There's a direct correlation between blood sugar levels and being overweight and Emulin C. If you said my only problem was overweight, I'd say take Emulin M. It will absolutely help you with greater weight loss because it liberates fat and sugars out of fat tissue. You know, you can go into a room and not have had anything to eat at all since midnight, and you take Emulin M and your blood sugar will go up, because it liberates the sugars out of fat. And you would say, oh, that's great. That's the one I want for weight loss. And I will agree with that. But if you also are bipolar, you do not want to have issues with elevated testosterone. And so I would say you need to take the Emulin C. It will regulate blood sugar. You'll lose the weight, and it will not aggravate bipolar.
Well, Dr. Ahrens, I have to honestly say, you know, we are students of life and we learn something every day. And I certainly didn't know that. I don't know how many other people weren't aware of that. So this is what's so amazing about this call with Q&A. Okay, so number 10, we've got Drew, and I did send you through this picture. I don't know if I can share the photo on here, but recently Drew took a picture of himself, just a headshot, and he's been taking Emulin consistently for 1 year. And he is wondering if you would be able to share your thoughts on why it appears that he's literally, in his opinion, he's taken 10 years off of his life. I'm going to try and see if I can. I don't think I can because of my screen. Oh, yes,
yeah, there it is. I see it. Okay, it's coming and going.
The screensaver.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Right there. Yeah, there it is.
Sorry, I've got the screensaver on. But anyway, we're talking about anti-aging, literally.
Well, it's really simple to me because It's a very funny story. We have one of our main shareholders in the company. My company is not Valentis. We are ATM Metabolics. We supply products to Valentis. One of our main shareholders from London. I mean, they are as white as a white sheet. They can't take any sun. And he came over, and here we are in Florida, no sunscreen, and he just didn't sunburn. And we thought he'd look like a lobster. And so it's very often how this happens in science, like with the anti-inflammation. We originally offered Emulin as a low blood sugar product, help you lose some weight. And people came back to us and said, wait a second, I'm doing that, but my psoriasis went away, or I no longer have arthritis. We went back to the laboratory and found out that, hey, there's something going on here with inflammation. So this is really similar. When Emulin is eliminated from the body through the skin and the urine, it actually migrates to the skin. And when it's on the skin, it actually supports the elastin underneath your skin. That was a totally unexpected result. Elastin is the part that keeps your skin level. You have a fat layer underneath that. Elastin for elastic. And it will actually support the whole body of the skin. Number two, it completely cuts down on any type of UV damage. So this is getting back to this London guy. It stops UV damage to your skin. We're actually working with a major company to put Emulin into a sports drink so that you would actually be able to do like beach volleyball and be protected from the UV rays, as well as it helps your athletic performance. So there's no doubt that what's happened. The third thing is it has helped with the circulation. I've mentioned several times tonight how the capillaries are very healthy and permeable. So those are three things. Stops UV damage. Number two, it helps supports your elastin, won't shrink down. Number three, it helps the circulation.
But you know what? If for nothing else, from being a woman, I'm never getting off of Emulin. I want to go anti-aging all the way. Sounds good to me. Look, we've got the last question, and the lovely Karen Ford sent this in, and we discussed this, and it is about lymphoma. So we're talking about lymphoma and having a diagnosis. I did send this through to Dr. Ahrens, so he's very aware of what what the diagnostic, final diagnosis was, and the comment on it was. So when we are talking about lymphoma, Dr. Ahrens, when we're looking at Emulin, can you please just give us your comments in regards to how it can assist and support?
I'm sorry.
Have we lost him, have we?
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
Oh, okay. About lymphoma. So we're just talking about how Emulin may be able to assist and support lymphoma through what I sent through to you with the final diagnosis that Karen Ford had actually sent in on behalf of a client.
Well, this is a really touchy subject because we can't talk about curing cancer or anything like that. So that's, I will go back to take Emulin. Your body would be the best it can be. And if you do have things such as cancer, then it will fight it the best it can. At the same time, I will tell you that there are scientific published papers that show that the components of Emulin absolutely do combat lymphoma. And I really can't legally say any more than that. So just take Emulin. You'll be the best you can be.
Great answer, Dr. Ahrens. So, that's the end of it. We do have some other questions there. So those that have put them into the chat line, please send them in to info@drjosephahrens.com, because we have gone a little bit longer than we anticipated. I want to thank each and every one of you primarily for being here and joining and showing up, because it certainly makes a huge difference to have the support for Dr. Ahrens and for what he has to offer each week. Dr. Ahrens, I want to thank you too, because You're an amazing man. You know, like what you do for each and every one of us on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. You know, you go above and beyond. And with what's going on in your own life, like you've got life going on itself, but you care about every single person that sends in an inquiry. And I really want to thank you because you are a humanitarian 100 plus. So I do thank you for that. I do want to actually say to people, if you haven't been invited, jump into Dr. Jospeh Ahrens like DGAB testimonial group. It was launched yesterday. So we are asking you to send your testimonials in there. So you've got a one-stop shop. If you do put them in, and we are going to make sure that they are compliant. So if needed, we will edit them for obvious reasons to protect the product and to protect everybody. But on finishing on that, Dr. Ahrens, have you got anything that you would like to finish up with? I think you're muted.
Remember, regardless of your issues, everybody does need insulin. And let's tell that to everyone from cradle to grave. Everyone needs insulin. And it does help some specific issues such as inflammation and high blood sugar management. But everyone needs insulin. You'll be better off for it. I hope everybody gets it. Help us get the word out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens, and thank you each and every one of you that are here today. And for those that watch it after this, we are so eternally grateful, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.